gifted them some cleats. Some warm, some didn't, but I was like, okay, this is just my little appreciation gift to them. Because they don't be having a lot in stock.
That was Shedeur Sanders casually flexing that his custom Nike cleats sold out. And it turns out the hype was real. Nike's now eyeing a record-breaking extension that could make him the highest paid rookie endorser ever. But while his jersey sales are exploding, not everyone in the league is happy about it. Let's break it down. The unprecedented sales phenomenon. Breaking news is emerging from inside sources that Nike is actively pursuing a massive contract extension, with Shedeur Sanders following unprecedented rookie jersey sales that have left the entire NFL establishment stunned. The sportswear giant is reportedly so impressed by the financial windfall generated by their fifth-round quarterback investment that they're preparing to offer him a deal that could rewrite the economics of athlete endorsements forever. But here's what's driving this shocking development. When the dust settled after Sanders' preseason debut against the Carolina Panthers, something extraordinary happened that sent shockwaves through the entire National Football League. The jersey sales figures that emerged were nothing short of staggering. $250 million in rookie jersey sales, making Sanders the highest-selling rookie jersey since his father, Deion "Primetime" Sanders, dominated the league decades ago.
$250 million in rookie jersey sales for Shedeur Sanders, which means he's going to commission $14 million. He only made $4.6 million from his rookie contract. So he's already made more than most second, third, whatever round.
To understand the sheer magnitude of these numbers, consider that most NFL rookies struggle to sell even a fraction of this amount in their entire first season. Sanders accomplished this astronomical figure within weeks of his debut, fundamentally challenging every assumption about rookie marketability and fan engagement in professional sports.
This is a sign for anybody out there that feels like they've been done wrong. You are always going to end up on the right side if you are a good person. Shedeur has been doing nothing but keeping quiet, working, minding his business, driving the speed limit hopefully, and doing everything he needs to do to prepare for this upcoming season.
But here's where this story becomes absolutely mind-blowing. Sanders isn't just making money from traditional rookie contract structures. Thanks to a revolutionary clause embedded in his deal, known as the Prime Equity Clause, Sanders receives a percentage of all revenue from merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions linked to his name and likeness. This means that from those $250 million in jersey sales alone, Sanders is set to pocket an estimated $14 million, more than triple his entire four-year rookie contract base salary of $4.6 million.
The clause is called Prime Equity. This clause gives Sanders a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions linked to his name and likeness. That's what I said. It wasn't that his character was stupid. They was trying
He's
to
so smart.
Yeah, that's why he got picked so far back, because apparently his agents wanted this clause in the contract.
The financial sophistication displayed by Sanders and his representation represents a paradigm shift in how young athletes approach their professional careers. While most rookies focus solely on making the team and proving their worth on the field, Sanders arrived in the NFL with a comprehensive business strategy that treats his athletic career as one component of a broader entertainment and lifestyle brand. Think about the implications of that for a moment. While most fifth-round picks struggle to make their mark and earn their second contract, Sanders has already financially outperformed countless higher drafted players before even starting a regular season game. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about reshaping the entire economic landscape of how rookie athletes approach their professional careers. The relationship between Sanders and Nike represents something far more significant than your typical endorsement deal. This partnership began in August 2024 when Sanders became Nike's inaugural NIL football athlete, marking a historic moment where the swoosh brand invested in a college player with unprecedented confidence. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Sanders was coming off record-breaking seasons at Colorado, where he set school records for single-season passing yards, 4,134, and touchdowns, 37, in 2024. But Nike's investment wasn't just about college performance. They saw something deeper, a generational talent carrying the legacy of one of the most marketable athletes in sports history. The deal deliberately echoed his father Deion Sanders' iconic 1990s collaboration with Nike, which produced the wildly popular Air Diamond Turf DT sneakers, famous for their dual sport appeal in football and baseball. What makes this even more remarkable is how Nike positioned Sanders throughout the draft process. Despite projections as a top quarterback prospect, Sanders slipped to the 5th round, 144th overall, by the Cleveland Browns, a slide that many attributed to various factors including his unique contract demands. But Nike never wavered in their commitment. In April 2025, ahead of the draft, Nike went all in, breaking months of social media silence to promote Sanders exclusively. They flooded social media with posts showcasing Sanders in custom gear, including all-gray Nike Air DT Maxim 96 sneakers and matching Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats with captions like "Nothing left to do," "See you 4.24 inches," and "Poetry in motion." The strategic brilliance of Nike's approach becomes clear when you examine the numbers. Sanders' NEO valuation reached $6.5 million college, making him the top valued athlete according to On3 rankings. This valuation stemmed from deals with multiple brands including Gatorade, Beats by Dre, and Mercedes-Benz. But Nike remained the cornerstone partner. The jersey sales phenomenon didn't happen by accident. It was the culmination of months of strategic marketing, authentic storytelling, and most importantly, on-field performance that validated the investment. When Sanders stepped onto the field for his preseason debut against the Carolina Panthers, he delivered exactly what Nike had bet on, completing 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, showcasing the poise and accuracy that had made him a college star. Within hours of that performance, Nike Football posted an ad on X with the caption "Only a matter of time," featuring Sanders' signature watch celebration. The ad garnered over 196,000 likes and thousands of reposts, demonstrating the kind of viral marketing momentum that money can't buy but authentic moments can create. But the most shocking aspect of this entire story isn't just the sales figures. It's what they represent for the future of professional sports. The prime equity clause in Sanders' contract grants him ownership of personal content across platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, plus special media rights for behind-the-scenes footage, creating a blueprint that could fundamentally alter how athletes negotiate their value in professional sports.
The clause is called prime equity. This clause gives Sanders a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions linked to his name and likeness. If he becomes like a superstar, he could be the richest NFL player ever.
The NFL has never seen anything quite like this before. Traditional rookie contracts follow a rigid structure designed to maintain league parity and owner control, but Sanders has essentially hacked the system by treating himself as a business partner rather than just an employee. The implications are staggering. If other rookies begin demanding similar clauses, it could completely reshape the economics of professional football. The Nike marketing machine and its revolutionary approach. The genius of Nike's marketing strategy for Shedeur Sanders goes far beyond traditional athlete endorsements. It represents a masterclass in brand building that has left the entire sports marketing industry scrambling to understand how they achieved such unprecedented results with a fifth-round rookie. Nike's approach to Sanders represents a strategic evolution in athlete endorsements, particularly in the NIL era, where college stars transition seamlessly into professional icons. The company crafted a multifaceted campaign that intertwines digital agility, product innovation, and narrative storytelling to elevate Sanders' profile in ways that traditional marketing simply cannot achieve. The foundation of this revolutionary partnership traces back to Sanders' announcement of his NIL deal via a joint Instagram post with Nike, which highlighted their commitment to apparel and footwear collaborations. The agreement deliberately echoed his father Deion Sanders' long-standing relationship with the brand, which produced the legendary Nike Air DT Max 96 sneakers, now reimagined in colorways worn by Shedeur during key events like Pro Days. This familial connection adds layers of authenticity and nostalgia that appeal to both young fans discovering the brand and veteran sneaker enthusiasts who remember the original primetime era. But Nike's real stroke of genius came in their pre-draft promotional blitz. While most brands would wait to see where a player gets drafted before committing marketing resources, Nike took the opposite approach. They flooded social media with posts showcasing Sanders in custom gear, such as all-gray Nike Air, DT Max 96 sneakers, and matching Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats, emphasizing his style and performance with motivational captions that built anticipation for his professional debut. The depth of Nike's commitment became even more apparent when you examine their product development strategy. They created custom all-gray Nike Air DT Max 96 sneakers and Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats specifically for Sanders, featuring his S2 logo, a square $sign nodding to his Num2 jersey that subtly reinforced his business-minded approach to his career. The real-time marketing capabilities that Nike demonstrated following Sanders' preseason debut represent a new standard for sports marketing responsiveness. Sanders' NFL preseason debut on August 9, 2025 saw him complete 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and a touchdown, prompting an immediate Nike ad campaign. The speed of this response was unprecedented. Within hours, Nike Football had produced and distributed a professionally crafted advertisement that captured the essence of the moment. The ad, featuring the caption caption "Only a Matter of Time" alongside imagery of Sanders in Brown's gear was shared across platforms like Instagram and X, amassing over 11 million impressions in under 24 hours, quadrupling Nike's average post engagement. This wasn't just marketing, this was cultural moment creation in real time. The merchandising strategy that Nike deployed represents perhaps the most comprehensive approach ever taken for a rookie athlete. Their product lineup spans across multiple categories and price points, ensuring maximum accessibility while maintaining premium positioning. The jersey collection includes Cleveland Browns Shedeur Sanders 2025 NFL Draft Game jerseys available in men's, women's, and youth sizes, priced between $130 and $175. These aren't just standard jerseys. They feature mesh panels for breathability, authentic NFL shields, and ventilated fits that combine performance with style. The apparel line extends to graphic t-shirts with Sanders branding, priced accessibly between $30 and $50, making the brand accessible to younger fans while maintaining the premium Nike aesthetic. These items are strategically distributed through multiple channels, including Dick's Sporting Goods, eBay, and Rally House, ensuring maximum market penetration. The footwear component represents the crown jewel of this partnership. Nike has created limited releases of the Air DT Maxta 96 and Custom Pro Day editions, and Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats, priced between $150 and $200. These aren't just performance shoes. They're collectible pieces that connect Sanders' story to his father's legacy while establishing his own unique identity. Perhaps most importantly, Nike has masterfully leveraged social media amplification to create organic buzz that extends far beyond their own channel. Posts from influencers and sports insiders, such as Jordan Schultz sharing debut ads and Soul Retriever highlighting Times Square billboard placements, generate massive organic reach that traditional advertising could never achieve. The Times Square billboard campaign represents the pinnacle of Nike's commitment to Sanders. They unveiled a massive billboard highlighting his signature watch celebration, positioning him alongside the biggest names in sports and entertainment. This wasn't just about selling products. This was about declaring Sanders as a cultural icon worthy of the world's most famous advertising real estate. The rapid response advertising following his preseason debut garnered over 196,000 likes and thousands of reposts on a single post, demonstrating the kind of viral marketing momentum that represents every brand's dream scenario. The engagement rates were off the charts, with replies ranging from supportive comments like "tried to humble him and created a monster" to skeptical observations about Nike's marketing strategy. But the most revolutionary aspect of Nike's approach lies in their long-term vision for Sanders as more than just an athlete endorser. Reports suggest Sanders negotiated a percentage of merchandise royalties in both his NIL and rookie deals, creating a power move that shocked the NFL and aligned perfectly with Nike's interest in long-term athlete partnerships that grow beyond traditional endorsement structures. This partnership model could fundamentally change how brands approach athlete relationships. Instead of simply paying athletes to wear products, Nike has created a structure where Sanders' success directly correlates with their mutual financial benefit. The speculation about a potential signature shoe line, with teasers like the LL2C and Proto 92 models potentially slated for 2025 releases, suggests that this partnership is designed to evolve into something much bigger than anyone initially imagined. The international implications of Nike's Sanders strategy extend far beyond American football. The company has positioned Sanders as a global ambassador for athletic excellence and entrepreneurial spirit, creating content and campaigns that resonate with international audiences who may not follow NFL football but understand the universal appeal of overcoming adversity and achieving success through dedication and innovation. The data analytics driving Nike's Sanders campaign represent cutting-edge sports marketing science. The company has deployed sophisticated tracking systems to monitor engagement rates, conversion metrics, and sentiment analysis across multiple platforms, allowing them to optimize their messaging and product releases in real time based on consumer response patterns. The challenge that Nike faces now is managing the enormous expectations they've created while maintaining authentic connection with Sanders' journey. Some critics argue that the marketing machine might be getting ahead of on-field performance, but the jersey sales numbers suggest that consumers are buying into the narrative regardless of traditional performance metrics. The ripple effects of Nike's Sanders strategy are already being felt across the sports marketing industry. Competing brands are scrambling to identify and sign the next generation of athletes who might replicate Sanders' combination of athletic talent, business acumen, and cultural cultural relevance. This has led to an escalation in NIL deal values and increasingly sophisticated contract structures that blur the lines between endorsement deals and business partnerships. Nike's investment in Sanders also represents a broader strategic shift toward athlete empowerment and shared value creation. Rather than simply extracting value from athlete popularity, Nike has created a model that incentivizes mutual success and long-term relationship building. This approach recognizes that modern consumers are increasingly sophisticated about authenticity and are more likely to support brands that demonstrate genuine commitment to the athletes they partner with. The noise and controversies threatening to derail a promising start. Despite Sanders' impressive preseason debut and the record-breaking jersey sales that have captured headlines, storm clouds are gathering around the young quarterback that threatened to overshadow his on-field accomplishments. The very factors that made him a marketing phenomenon are now creating controversies that could derail his NFL career before it truly begins. The scrutiny began during the draft process, where anonymous NFL executives painted a disturbing picture of Sanders' character and attitude. Industry sources labeled him entitled with horrible body language, claiming he blamed teammates for mistakes and displayed arrogance in combine interviews. These character assassinations weren't isolated incidents. They represented a coordinated effort to undermine Sanders' draft stock that extended far beyond typical pre-draft evaluations. The depth of institutional resistance became apparent when examining the specific criticisms leveled against Sanders. Executives worried about his "look-at-me" attitude, pointing to moments where he flashed a diamond-studded watch during games while promoting his too legendary brand. One executive suggested that separating from his father would foster humility, revealing how deeply his family connections were viewed as liabilities rather than assets.
It shouldn't be, but it will be. Because I think that there's a lot of people that's looking for an excuse for him to fall. That doesn't mean it's the Cleveland Browns.
The media landscape surrounding Sanders has become increasingly hostile, with leaked anonymous criticisms creating a narrative that threatens to define his career trajectory. The Guardian described this as exposing the cruel heart of the NFL draft industry, where character assassinations through anonymous sources have become standard practice for undermining prospects who don't fit traditional molds. The racial undertones of these attacks cannot be ignored, particularly when examining the language and tone used to describe Sanders compared to his white counterparts. Critics have pointed to what some call a plantation mindset bias against outspoken black athletes who assert their worth and demand equitable treatment. The fact that Sanders dared to negotiate unprecedented contract terms and maintain ownership of his media rights seems to have triggered a particularly vicious backlash.
And what I'm thinking about is the fact that because people had a problem with his daddy for a multitude of reasons, it affected his draft stock. And so you have folks out here that are not rooting for this brother, but he's accustomed to adversity. He's accustomed to defying the odds.
Post-draft controversies have continued to plague Sanders, most notably the speeding incidents that occurred in June 2025. Sanders was cited for driving 91 miles per hour in a 65 zone and 101 miles per hour in a 60 zone, violations that drew immediate criticism from Cleveland Browns GM Andrew Berry, who called the behavior not smart and dangerous. Sanders initially failed to appear in court, but later paid fines and admitted to wrong choices during a Twitch stream. The speeding incidents became particularly damaging because they fed into existing narratives about Sanders' maturity and decision-making. Critics pointed to these violations as evidence that he prioritizes flash over substance, reinforcing stereotypes about entitled young athletes who believe rules don't apply to them. The fact that teammates like Myles Garrett had received similar citations without comparable backlash only highlighted the double standard Sanders faces.
What you bring to the table matters. The level of cachet, your gifts, your skills, etc. do have an impact, but also relationships or lack thereof, perceptions, first impressions, all of these kind of things. Whether it was the workout, whether it was his dad talking about, if my son go to a certain place, I ain't gonna be down for that.
The social media landscape has become increasingly toxic for Sanders, with critics using every misstep to validate their pre-existing negative opinions. Antonio Brown's vulgar social media attacks represent the extreme end of this spectrum, but they reflect a broader pattern of public figures attempting to tear down Sanders' success. Brown's explicit and degrading posts about Sanders demonstrate how personal attacks have replaced legitimate football analysis and discussions about the young quarterback. The pressure on Sanders extends beyond individual critics to institutional skepticism about his playing style and football acumen. Analysts have labeled him prone to hero ball tendencies and highlighted his sack proneness, 94 sacks in his final 2 college years. Though supporters argue these statistics reflect Colorado's poor offensive line protection rather than Sanders' decision-making.
We got the very best in Adam Schefter. There is none better, okay? And when you heard them talking about him, you heard folks calling teams, the Adam Schefflers, the Lewis Riddicks of the world, Ryan Clarks of the world, others, you as well. And you heard people saying, we ain't taking him. Before the draft even took place.
The Cleveland Browns organization finds itself managing not just a quarterback competition, but a public relations challenge that extends far beyond typical rookie situations. Sanders' presence has created unprecedented media attention, both positive and negative, that threatens to overshadow team objectives and create locker room distractions. The fact that he trolled GM Andrew Berry after his preseason performance, saying, "You're not fully proud," kind of, demonstrates how Sanders continues to court controversy even when experiencing success. The long-term implications of these controversies could prove more damaging than any on-field struggles. If Sanders cannot manage the external noise and continues to provide ammunition for his critics, it could undermine the very business empire he's worked to build. Sponsors and partners require athletes who represent stability and positive brand associations. Continued controversies could jeopardize the lucrative deals that have made him financially successful.
You change the narrative by how you ball.
But that,
Like it's that simple.
which to his point is keeping the main thing the main.
The psychological toll of constant scrutiny and criticism represents perhaps the greatest threat to Sanders' development as both a player and a person. Young athletes often struggle with the transition from college to professional sports under normal circumstances. Sanders faces this challenge while navigating unprecedented business arrangements, family expectations, and media attention that would challenge even veteran players. The injury concerns add another layer of vulnerability to Sanders' situation. His oblique injury during the preseason, while described as minor, highlighted how quickly circumstances can change for any NFL player. Injuries could limit his playing time and development opportunities, potentially providing critics with additional ammunition to question his durability and commitment. The quarterback room dynamics in Cleveland present ongoing challenges for Sanders' development. Competing with veterans like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, plus rookie Dylan Gabriel, Sanders must prove himself worthy of playing time while managing the external pressures that his teammates don't face. The comparison between his 106.8 preseason rating and Gabriel's 66.1 rating with an interception favors Sanders, but injury and depth chart politics could still limit his opportunities.
And I'm rooting for the brother, and I hope that he does well tonight.
The ultimate test for Sanders will be whether he can maintain focus on football excellence while managing unprecedented external pressures that would challenge any professional athlete. His response to criticism, his ability to learn from mistakes, and his commitment to team success will determine whether he fulfills his potential or becomes another cautionary tale about talent derailed by circumstances beyond pure football ability. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Sanders personally, but for the broader question of whether young athletes can successfully challenge traditional power structures while maintaining the focus and humility necessary for athletic success. Every game, every interview, and every public appearance becomes a referendum on whether Sanders represents the future of athlete empowerment or a dangerous precedent that threatens team chemistry and league stability. The noise surrounding Sanders will only intensify as his profile grows, making his ability to drown out the noise, as Stephen A. Smith advised, perhaps the most crucial skill he needs to develop for long-term success in the NFL. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes. Playing on your screen to watch more similar content.